Good morning, and I hope wherever you are in the world that you're having a fantastic day. Now, this morning I want to talk about Game Pass, and the reason I want to talk about Game Pass is that while I've been an advocate of Game Pass for some time now, and actually think it's the best value for money in gaming currently, and I'm not the only person who thinks that. If you look at a load of other people, they also agree with me, and some of them have come over from the PlayStation side, and they've looked at Game Pass, they've looked at Xbox, and they see it as a good value for money proposition. But as I say, even while I'm an advocate of Game Pass, I do think it can be improved. And in specifically two areas. One, games. If you look at the game selection on Game Pass, and we can go into it here. Let me see, if we go down to full library and we go into Game Pass, let me just do all games. Now, the library on here is not at all bad. If you go through, there's an awful lot of games on here, and I'm sure you will be able to find something you want to play. And as Microsoft put it, find your next favourite game. There is an awful lot on here. Nevertheless, it could be even better. I do think that's something that is going to get better over time, though. If you look at what Microsoft have been saying, it's pretty clear now that every first-party game from Xbox Studios, including Bethesda now, are going to be coming to Game Pass day one. So that's pretty good. And we're going to see Halo, we're going to see Hellblade. Any number of games are going to be coming to Game Pass day one, and that's going to be increasing the value proposition for Game Pass. And on top of that, as Game Pass increases its numbers, and the numbers have been going up incredibly, it's going to attract more and more third-party publishers. We've already got EA on board, and don't be surprised if you see other developers and publishers coming on board to Game Pass, and some of them will have their games coming day one. We've already seen that with a few games, and it's just going to get more and more and more. So I think that's one that's already in the process of being solved. And I think we will see Game Pass get better and better. The one that sticks with me, though, is the way in which you can play Game Pass games across consoles and across accounts. Because that's one that I do think needs to be addressed. And I'm just going to change this to installed here. This console hasn't got a great many games installed because I haven't got an external hard drive, but it's got enough for me to show you what I mean. If I go back to the desktop briefly, as you can see here at the top there, it says Joe Chip. So I'm currently logged in, but what I'm also doing is I'm logged in to Game Pass on PC. And as you can see at the top here, it says Cloud Gaming Beta. So I'm logged into Game Pass via Cloud Gaming, Xbox Cloud Gaming, and I've got all these games available on here as well. And as you can see, like I say, I'm logged into both of them simultaneously. And earlier on, before I recorded this video, I was also logged into my phone simultaneously as well, and I had Game Pass open on there. However, there's a problem. If we go down, let me see, we've got actually Dirt here, which is a Game Pass game. But let's just go into Game Pass just to show you what I mean. Go back into Game Pass. And go down to Dirt from here. There you go. There's Dirt. So we've got Dirt here, which is a Game Pass game. If I load up Dirt, play it. That's all loaded up well and good. It's going to go in and it's going to play. Oh, it's asking me to turn on my daily quests. And it should load up fairly quickly. It's not, I don't think it's currently in quick resume. No, it's not currently in quick resume, so it's going to take a little bit longer than normal, or longer than if it was in quick resume. In fact, actually, yeah, I think Dirt 5 is one of those that doesn't work with quick resume currently. But anyway, as you can see, it's loading up. And let's just get into the menus. It says Joe Chip. So I'm going to go into the game as Joe Chip. Okay, and bear in mind, this console isn't my primary console. So this is not set as my home console. This would be slightly different if it was set as my home console. So as you can see, it's all up and running. But what happens if I go into Dirt 5 And I'll just turn the sound down there. Let's see if I can find it here. Dirt 5. There you go. Let's just load that up on here and play. And yeah, okay, continue anyway. I've not got a controller plugged in, but that's not a big deal because we're not going to really be playing it. And it's going to start to load up. Bear in mind, I'm logged in as me on here as well. And it says, there you go. Can you see what it says? This is on my Xbox. It says, you started playing this somewhere else. You can play only one place at a time. Play here instead. End your other session. So if I say to play here on my Xbox, it will stop it on the PC. So let's just do that. And there you go. It's loading up on there. And on the PC, it says click anywhere to resume. And it's saying to quit. So quit game. And that's a problem, as you can imagine. That's stopping me from being able to play the game in two places. But obviously, you're not normally going to be wanting to play the game in two places on your account. And I mean, unless you've set up for your kid to play with your account. But ideally, what you would want to do is set up more than one account. So, as you can see here on the Xbox, if I go into the accounts all the way across to the right, and I do add or switch, I've already got Kid Test set up. So, we're now into Kid Test. And Kid Test's logged in. And I'm logged in with Joe Chip as well. Now, there is a slight problem here. If I logged off as Joe Chip on this Xbox, then Kid Test wouldn't be able to play anyway because this isn't currently set as my home Xbox console. If it was set as my home Xbox console, I wouldn't need to be logged in. But because it isn't my home Xbox console, I do need to be logged in. So the fact I'm logged in means that I can go in with Kid Test and play Dirt 5. And as you can see, it's loading up perfectly well. I hope that makes sense. The home console can have other people playing on it. Any non-home console would have to have the primary account logged in. And that's where the problem arises, and we'll get to that in a moment. But as you can see, it's loading up Dirt 5 perfectly well, and it's playing. And that's great. Now, if I went in here now, and I went across and I went to sign out, and I signed out Joe Chip, it would immediately cancel the game, and it would stop working. And the problem is, that also occurs if I log in somewhere else, because if I log in somewhere else, this is what happens. Let me just find Dirt 5. Where is it? There you go, Dirt 5. So I'm going to click on Dirt 5 on my PC, where I'm logged in as Joe Chip, as you can see there. And I'm going to click on it, and it's going to start the stream. And any second now, we're going to get an error on the Xbox. There you go. It says, Joe Chip started playing somewhere else. Each person can only play one place at a time. So that's caused me a problem on the Xbox. So let's cancel that on the Xbox. And as you can see, it's loading up perfectly well on the PC with me. So let's quit out of that and quit game. But what happens if I go into Dirt 5 logged in as Kid Test, and we load that up now? It's going to ask me, there you go, play here instead. So I'm going to choose to play here instead. So that's good. And I'm going to load that up. And it's working perfectly fine again. But what happens if I go in and I load up a different game on PC? Will that still have the same effect? Well, let's have a look. Play. We're doing control. Continue anyway, because I'm not actually intended to play the game. And any second now, we're going to get the error message again. Any second now. It's taking its time to go through, so that's the problem. There you go. So it doesn't matter that I'm playing a different game on the streaming service, or it could be another Xbox. It could be another Xbox. It could be my phone, or, using xCloud. Doesn't matter. If Joe Chip, me, logs in somewhere else, it'll stop the game playing on any console that isn't the home console, because I've logged in and started playing a game elsewhere. So I can be logged into 2 different places at once as Joe Chip, but as soon as I start playing a game, anyone who's playing a game using that version of xCloud or that version of Game Pass will immediately be logged out, unless, as I said before, it is on the primary Xbox, the home console. If it's my home console, then you wouldn't get this error message. I know this is a bit of a palaver. Let's just cancel out of that and go out of here as well. I know that's a bit of a palaver, and it's a bit of a one to get your head round. It takes me... Sometimes I have to think about this if I've got my lads' friends round and stuff, and I have to try and work out how they can play together. The reality is that if there's 3 of them, they can't play together on different consoles. And that would be the same issue if you had a family and you were trying to do it with a family. So, as I say, one of the biggest problems currently for families specifically with xCloud and with, any Xbox game, it's not just xCloud and Game Pass, anybody trying to play Game Pass or an Xbox game currently on Xbox will have this problem if they have multiple consoles and multiple accounts. So, as I say, my argument is that Xbox needs a family plan. So, maybe you can pay a little bit more every month and you can have access to, 5 consoles with 5 accounts, or 3 consoles, 3 accounts. Ideally more than 3, because 3 wouldn't be enough with some families. But if you did it with something like 5, the chances of having 5 people playing at once would be quite slim. But 5 would be a good number, I think. And if they had that, so you could just log in with anyone on your family account and play these games, and you could play the same game together. So, for instance, you could play Dirt with your kid, and your other kid could also be playing Dirt, and you could all play Dirt together at once. Certainly, if it was a multiplayer game, you could play together at once. Or if, 2 of you wanted to play Dirt or Forza Horizon or whatever, and another one wanted to play Apex or whatever, it wouldn't be an issue. And this is one thing I think that Microsoft do need to sort out. It's the sort of thing we see on Apple, and it's the sort of thing we see on Google with their phones, where you can go in and multiple accounts can have access to family-bought games or family-bought apps. If they did this, that would be the final element to Xbox for me, to Game Pass and to the whole way Xbox works with the game saves and all the rest of it. But anyway, I'm going on a bit. I just wanted to make a video about this because I do think it is an area that needs to be addressed. And if they did, well, Game Pass and Xbox really would be the no-brainer for families. As it stands at the minute, you have to kind of juggle balls to try and make it work. But this would finally solidify Microsoft's position and give them a real advantage, certainly for families. Because at the moment, it's great. You look as a family, the cost of Xbox, the cost of entry to Xbox is far lower than the cost of entry to PlayStation. And even things like Stadia, the cost of entry with Stadia can get very expensive. But with a family plan that allowed multiple people to access the same or different games at once across the family, well, as I say, that would be the final thing for me, and that would make it absolutely the best service out there for gaming. It already is, but this would be the cherry on the top. Anyway, as I say, I'm going on. I'm going to go and grab myself a cup of tea, and I will speak to you guys in the next one. Bye.